Good evening.
Good
How are
evening,
you?
sir.
Good evening.
Good
How are you
evening.
all? You guys are doing good? You're fine?
Yes,
No.
sir.
What happened? Why somebody said no? What happened to you?
Good
You
evening.
understand?
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Hmm. I just hope that if you are doing well, I hope you stay well. And if you're not doing well as well, let me remind you that it can only get better, not worse. Okay. And it depends on you as well to actually manage things well, manage your life well. And if it is in your control, you can always make things better. And if it is not in your control, all you can do is that hope that it will get better. And there's always a rainbow, right? There's always sunny days after the rain. So don't lose hope. Everything is going to be all right. All right. Thank you all for joining in for today's class as well. I see a lot of you joining in with much enthusiasm every single day, and it's really encouraging and inspiring. So I wasn't feeling a bit well today, so I couldn't go for my geography offline classes. If some of you are here, yeah, so we'll meet tomorrow. But then for the current affairs class, it's all from the home only. I just hope the internet connection will be fine. The current will be all right, so we can complete some important topics of discussion today. So, right, shall we start? All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Yeah, you can see my screen well, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right, thank you very much. Um, Today we actually, in our previous class, we have completed our discussion till the mm, see we have completed our discussion till point number 16 of the governance part, right? Yes, we have discussed on the governance schemes and programs, government schemes and programs. So today we are going to discuss science and technology. So actually, wait, let me just mute you all. If you just want to say something, you can just unmute yourself, okay? There's no problem if I'm doing that because sometimes you forget to mute yourselves. All right, the option is not appearing. Mute all. All right. Now, so actually, for these kind of discussions, for schemes, government schemes, or for science and technology, if you see in your YouTube classes and all, they will be discussing in 1 hour, 3, 4 topics, especially, or 5, 6 topics. But we are trying to cover at least 10 to 12 topics. And we're not trying to cover at 20, 30 topics in a class because like sometimes it might get confusing. And just if I can also just read out these things and just say, this is that, this is that, this is that. But actually, we won't be getting any value addition from that. So I'm trying to take as much as time with a single article. So it's not actually about completing the entire articles. We'll discuss all the important articles in banking and finance and everything, and we'll complete it by next week. And but for the awards and all, it's just if you read it once, you'll understand. But in our discussion of more than like around 120 articles or so we have discussed here. And if you just keep on revising it and go to it like time and again, it'll help you a lot. And revision is very important. So I hope you are all doing your revisions. Now, without much further ado, we will discuss about the science and technology portion. And most of us, many of us do not like science, right? Science paper. But when you're talking about science as a subject in current affairs, especially, you will not be asked about the definitions or the what is happening, like scientific terms, like chemistry or something like this, but it will actually be the questions in your prelims or exams will actually be related to what you're studying in your current affairs. Okay, what you're studying about space and technology, about some new discoveries and all. What are these related to, and what are some of the basic details that you need to know? So these are some of the things that will come in importance when you're studying about the science and technology, and we are looking at it actually from the policy point of view. How does it impact like policy wise, right? A new discovery or a new invention, all of these things. And there are some technical terms as well. So we will, for today's class, we will try to complete the science and technology portions. I will try to make it as simple as possible so that we will understand at least a portion of it, everybody. And so that when you're leading it in the later days, it'll be more easier for you. Okay, now, so the quotation that I wanted to share with you all, even this day, is life loses half its interest if there is no struggle, if there are no risks to be taken. Life loses half its interest if there is no struggle, if there are no risks to be taken. So, and this is said by Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So this quote is basically telling us about that without challenges, risks, and struggles in life, life itself becomes very dull and meaningless or unfulfilling. Because when we have struggles, it pushes us to grow. And you know that risk will make achievements very meaningful. So even coming to the competitive exam circle, it is a risk that we are taking. We will see our friends already completing for some people. It takes even 4 or 5 years. And in that span of years, people will complete B.Ed, people will complete PhD, or someone might do a startup and stuff like that. But this is a risk that we are taking. And risk, if we are doing it with passion, with like if we're going through the struggle patiently, at the end of the day, it will always be rewarding and fruitful. So just wanted to encourage that with us all. Now, moving on to the articles. All right. Very simply, we will discuss. It's not to be scared of science and technology. So yes, this article is about the Project 75 that we have also discussed in this booklet only. So if we're going to the slides in our, I believe it was somewhere around in the 60s, we have discussed this, but we will discuss it in a bit simpler manner as well, even now, and we will emphasize it more. So these are the three Scorpion, three naval warships and submarines that we have discussed earlier. We have discussed about the INS Nilgiri that was in use recently, a stealth frigate under the Project 17A. So these are the things that you need to remember. So the Vakshir, the news that we're seeing today is the Vakshir, INS Vakshir, okay, Indian naval ship. So just remember this as well. Now, so this article talks about a Mumbai-based Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited. So if we are looking at the naval ships and also the submarines, you will find that it is built by Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited. So this Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited is very important. All right. So Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited, just for your information, this is a public sector undertaking, which means it is a PSU. All right, public sector undertaking. It is under the government holding only. It is under the Ministry of Defense. Just remember this. And this Mazatun Dock Shipbuilders Limited, this specialize in building warships like the naval ship and the submarines as well. And they built it for the Indian Navy, particularly for the Indian Navy. And also they build commercial vessels as well. Vessels are also another term just for ships and all. And this Mazatun Dock Shipbuilders Limited was actually established in the year 1934. Okay, but it was nationalized. All right, you know the term nationalized, right? Nationalized simply means it became an ownership of the government of India. So when you're talking about bank nationalization, it also means that a bank which was a private sector bank was converted into a public sector bank, which is owned by the government of India. So now this was nationalized in the year 1960. Okay. This is the Mazatun Dock Shipbuilders Limited, which is like and this is based in Mumbai, right? So this is like the apex or the head shipbuilding company for the Ministry of Defense, and it is under the Ministry of Defense. Please remember that. Now, moving on to our slides. Okay, now the Vakshir of Project 75. The name of the projects are important. When you are talking about INS Nilgiri, remember that this was under Project 17A. These are certain projects of the Navy, okay, Indian Navy, all right? It is said by the Ministry of Defense only. And INS Surat, when you're talking about this is under Project 15B. And INS Vakshir that we are talking about here right now, it is under Project 75. So remember that in your questions, they might also directly ask in your MCQs, which project is it under? All right, so this is the 6th Scorpion class submarine. I'll tell you about this. So now looking at what the Project 75 is, you come down here. Have you all had your dinner? Or you haven't had your dinner yet?
No, sir.
No,
No,
not
no,
yet.
sir.
Oh,
Sir.
not yet, right? Same
Mm,
same with me. Actually, food is provided mula room la bahade. It's provided, and my roommate is actually eating. But okay, we carry on. I'm a bit hungry as well. So see, this project 75, all right. In 1999, the Ministry of Defense approved a plan to construct a total of 24 submarines over a span of 30 years. So the plan was that by 2030, the government Ministry of Defense had plans to build 24 submarines, okay? However, due to financial constraints, only 6 submarines of Cavalry class. All right. So Cavalry class is a type of a naval ship only or submarine only. All right. So you don't have to get confused with that. So this is the class of submarines in India are known as Cavalry class. Just remember that. INS Cavalry, these are the 6, all right, would be authorized for operational status by the mid 2030s, meaning 2025. By around 2025, this will be operational. Okay, so in 2001, the Indian Navy decided to adopt a new submarine design, the Scorpion. So the Scorpion, when you're talking about this, this is a design, okay? It was offered along with the option of technology transfer by the French naval firm Armaris. So this naval ships of the Scorpion class that we are building right now is through technology transfer. We are getting ideas or building help, right? Help in the form of ideas as well as training from French naval firm only. This is a French naval firm, Armaris. So when you're talking about Indian naval ships, the Calvary class or Scorpion design, we relate it to getting help from the French. Just remember that. So Scorpion class submarines in Indian Navy through Project 75. These are the Scorpion class submarines, which you can remember. Calvary, Kandiri, Karanj, Villa, Vagir, and recently Vakshir. So S21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Please try to, we can just remember this. So sometimes the question might be right, INS, the options, these 3 might be given, and there might be INS, another one, INS, Viksat, or anything else. And if this is not coming under these 3, the question options will be which doesn't come under these Scorpion class submarines. So you will choose this one because you will know what are the Scorpion class submarines in India. Just 6 of them. The one was 17, 2019. Even the year is important. All right. So Vakshir will be in 2025. It will come in 2025. All right. Now, the INS Vakshir. See, the news article in India TV, it read like India's most dreaded. Khatarnak, right? So it will be a very deadly submarine. It's here to give sleepless nights to enemies. Such a very strong statement, right, by the news article. So I found it very interesting. So INS Vakshir will be transferred on April 20. It's transferred by the Mazadok Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited to the Indian Navy. Okay, this is what transferred means. Once it is inducted, a sea trial of the beat will be carried out for a year. INS Vakshir is named after a sandfish. Okay, Vakshir is a sandfish and symbolizing its stealth and agility underwater. Stealth meaning that it cannot be detected by enemy radars. Right, it is moving in secret. And agility, maneuverability. All right. So that is the INS Vakshir. Please remember it is under Project 75, right? Scorpion class, built by the Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited, which has been commissioned to the Indian Navy. It is named after a sandfish. Okay. So yes, that is all that this article is talking about. And the Scorpion class submarines are diesel electric attack submarines, meaning that they run on diesel engines, okay, and electric batteries. And this allows them to stay hidden underwater for very long periods. Okay, stealth operations, targeting adversary vessels, and intelligence gathering. The 6, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5 under which was previously there under Project 75, and now we have the 6th, the Vakshir. I believe you will remember that, right? Very simply. Yeah, you can also answer. It's all right if you're not sleeping off. So yes, now the next article,
Yes, sir.
astronomers. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. So astronomers from the Indian Institute of Astrophysics and their collaborations have discovered a new ultra-diffuse galaxy. Explain this to you simply, okay? Don't just one step after the other. Forming 430 million years ago from Earth in the constellation Leo. So this article is basically talking about the discovery of a new ultra-diffuse galaxy. And who discovered it? By the astronomers in the Indian Institute of Astrophysics. So, and it is said that one step after the other. Okay, so for now, just keep this a new ultra diffuse galaxy. Okay, and the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, and it was found in the constellation Leo. So when we are talking about a constellation, see constellation meaning it is a you're not talking about your star sign. Okay, I'm Leo, I'm Gemini, not about this. So constellation is actually in astrophysics, it talks about a group of stars. Okay, a group of stars that appear to form like a pattern in the sky, especially when you're looking at the sky. And these patterns are often named after like mythological figures, animals or objects like the Leo, the Gemini. All of these are mythological figures, right? And when you're talking about constellations, okay, so constellations, like a group of stars creating a pattern in the night sky, right? So when you're talking about this, there are 88. Remember that there are 88 official constellations, okay? Official constellations, and they are recognized by the International Astronomical Union. So this is the body which actually recognizes and names these constellations, okay? The International Astronomical Union. And ever since like from way back in time, this constellations has helped sailors and travelers to navigate. Like, and you will hear about the famous um constellations like the Ursa Minor, right? Ursa Minor is that constellation of stars which has the North Star, right? North Star, which is a very famous star, right? The North Star. And also you also have another constellation called the Crux, right? The Southern Cross. Yeah. These are just two constellations that I'm reminding you of. Like if sometimes we might forget, right? For centuries, sailors have used this, the pole star, right? The pole star, the North Star. Even in songs we sing about, you are the pole star that guides me, right? There's songs. So these are constellations. Mm, and also just another point that you can keep in mind is that different constellations are actually visible in different seasons. Like when you're talking about in the winter, the constellation that will be visible is the Orion constellation. If you need to remember Orion, is just remember Optimus Prime, right? Optimus Prime's name initially was Orion, Orion Pax, right? So just remember this. For winter, it is Orion, and for summer, you have this Scorpion, right? Scorpius, right? Scorpius. Just remember Scorpion. It's actually the constellation is called Scorpius, right? Just remember Scorpion for that, right? Now, these are the constellations. Now, moving to the article, we are talking about this nascent galaxy. When you're talking about a nascent, the word see, nascent means new, right? The nascent ultra diffuse galaxy, if we just understand it once, like if you read it in the newspaper, uh, for the second time, you'll understand it very nascent ultra diffuse galaxy. This is like just knew that this is like a newly forming galaxy, all right? Newly forming galaxy, which has very low brightness and they have like less number of stars in the galaxy. And then actually they are large when when you talk about its mass. All right, this is a galaxy. All right, and we know that which galaxy are we in? Anybody? Which galaxy is the Earth in? Are we living in?
Milky Way.
Yes, the Milky Way, right? So the Milky Way galaxy, and we are talking about a new galaxy that has been formed. Nascent means new, and a new nascent ultra diffuse galaxy. Ultra diffuse means that it is spread out and faint, and makes it ultra diffuse, spread out, right? Spread out, and it is faint, which is like very difficult to detect it actually. And this contains very few stars, and there are a lot of dark matter as well. Just forget that for now. And they're different from typical galaxies, other galaxies. So what the recent discovery is telling us is that, see, the nascent ultra diffuse galaxy was found at the tip of a long tail. See, was found the the nascent ultra diffuse galaxy that we're talking about. Ultra diffuse galaxy. Where was it found? This was found at the tip of a long tidal tail. See, this is a long tidal tail, and tidal tails are thin, elongated regions, meaning stretched regions of stars and interstellar gaze that extend into space from galaxy. If this is one galaxy, and if this is the other galaxy, so this is the tidal tails of the galaxy, and which are regions of stars. These are also regions of stars and interstellar gaze that is produced by the star system only, all right? And these extend into space from galaxy. If this is the Milky Way galaxy, will be the tidal tail also, all right? Which are formed of stars and interstellar case. Just remember that. Now, so that is there are some things that you need to remember here. Okay. So Nesson is located at the tip of the longest tidal tail ever discovered. So this galaxy, Nesson new galaxy, is located at the longest tidal tail. Well, we have discovered a lot of tidal tails, okay? And this is located at the end of the, see, if this is the galaxy, this is the tidal tail, and the new Nesson galaxy is here. So see, longest tidal tail ever discovered, stretching out from galaxy NGC 3785. So if this is NGC 3785, sometimes these questions might directly come as well. So remember, and ISKA, this is the tidal tail of this galaxy. All right, just like the Milky Way. And this is the new galaxy, nascent, what was it? Nascent ultra diffuse galaxy that has been found. Okay, so this is the galaxy on which tail, all right, the new galaxy has been found. The tidal tail, a long stream of stars and interstellar, was formed by the gravitational interaction between NGC 3785 and a neighboring galaxy, okay, measuring an unprecedented 1.25 million light years in length. So this is the light years in length. And if you're talking about the tail, longest tidal tail, if the trivia question is about the longest tidal tail, this is the tidal tail stretching out from NGC 3785. Just remember that. See, galaxy NGC 3785 is situated at 430 million light years away in the Leo constellation. This is in the Leo constellation. All right. Milky Way. Leo constellation only. Okay, just remember that. What's the longest tidal tail? 1.27 million light years. When you're talking about length in the galaxy or universe, we measure it in the form of light years, okay? An ultra diffuse galaxy is forming at the tail's tip due to gravitational forces. See, now you understand if you're just reading it, right? Because we have simplified it. Tidal tail formed by galaxy interactions, pulling stars and chaos apart. Benefits. What is the benefit of discovering this nascent ultra diffuse galaxy? So the benefits are, it offers insights into how faint, diffuse, and galaxies evolve. So if there is this galaxy which is faint, ultra diffuse galaxy, how is it evolving in time? As time passes on, it helps us to understand galaxy interactions and formation of faint, diffuse cosmic structures. See, now you understand, right? I believe it is clear. Everybody?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Now, see, if you just read it, it was discovered by Omkar Bait. All right, and yeah, that is it. Now, Moving on to the next article. This is also important. It talks about NILIT only. Everyone knows what the NILIT is. You have the computer center even in Nagaland, right? NILIT. See, this article, I've just summarized it here somehow. These are the few points of the NILIT. So I will mention this, okay? Now, NILIT stands for National Institute of Electronics, Technology and Information. So what the article here is saying is, okay, it's saying that NILIT has opened. Okay, now just let me go here. So it is saying basically that NILIT deemed to be university. Deemed to be university refers to a autonomy. It's like an autonomy that is autonomy, like a little bit of freedom or an autonomy that is actually granted by the Department of Higher Education. Just remember this. So we know that Department of Higher Education is under which ministry? It is under the Ministry of Education only, central ministry. So when you're talking about deemed to be university, we are talking about certain colleges or something more than a college, which is given some autonomy status by the Department of Higher Education under the Ministry of Education. And the advice is given by the UGC only, remember this as well, to see, this is given, this deemed to be university is a status which is given to a college or just an institute, all right, which is not actually a university, full-fledged university, but it works at a very high standard in a specific area of study. We know that St. Joseph College is now deemed as a university. It is a university right now, but before getting that status, they are deemed to be university, meaning that they are performing at a very high standard, and they have certain autonomies in relation to creation of syllabus and so on. Apart from the UGC syllabus, right, they can modify it. So these are some of the features of it deemed to be university. Okay, so NILIT, which is deemed to be university, the NILIT deemed to be university at 12 locations, including 5 locations in northeastern states. And this university, which will be established right in the northeastern states, this 12 institutions will provide education in digital technologies like AI, machine learning, blockchain technology. All of these things are important, all right? Artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain technology. When you're talking about blockchain technology, it's mostly applied to digital currencies, right? Digital currencies or crypto, right? Cryptocurrency is also working under blockchain technology only, all right? Industry 4.0, right? Semiconductor, important, we will discuss it. Design and manufacturing, automotive, electronics, drone technology, all of these are important, and this will be provided in the NILIT deemed to be universities that will be established in the northeastern and northeast only. Right. Okay, now the article. NILIT is now a deemed to be university. See, as I've mentioned, it is conferred by the Ministry of Education. And this was a formerly an autonomous society. NILIT was formerly an autonomous society. I'm just summarizing and explaining this portion, okay? So it was formerly an autonomous society, meaning that this NILIT previously, before Ministry of Education, it worked under Ministry of Information and Technology, okay? And the main campus of NILIT is in Ropar, Punjab. 11 constituent units across India. Aizawl, Agartala, Aurangabad, Calicut, all of these places, even in Kohima, we have a NILIT center, right? Patna, Srinagar. Okay, so these are the constituent units or the branches of NILIT. And this is aligned with new educational policy, meaning that its educational approach is in line with the new educational policy of 2020. And the courses offered here are also in line with the new education policy of 2020 and focus on accessibility, flexibility, and industrial relevance, meaning that they have certain principles which guides what kind of an education they are offering to the students. Student-centered digital learning, meaning that they will provide a very flexible learning environment which will be supported by strong digital infrastructure. Okay, so this is all about the NILIT the inauguration of the different NILIT branches in northeastern states only, all right? Okay, now this article also talks about another point here. It's mixed up only, okay? So it talks about an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, that was signed between, see it's here, signed between NILIT and Tata Electronics Private Limited. Remember this, and the basic aim is to collaboratively enhance the semiconductor skilling ecosystem in India. Semiconductor skilling ecosystem means to know how to utilize semiconductors. Basically, that only. All right. So there will be establishment of skill centers where diploma and certification programs will be granted to people, right? And they will conduct workshops in semiconductor ATMP, meaning assembling of semiconductors, testing, marking, and packaging. Semiconductors, you use it in your phone, like they're small chips, right? Semiconductors. They are small chips which actually makes your phones, your computers, all of these functions in a motherboard. If you open a computer, PC, right? And if you open it, there is a motherboard here. And there are a lot of semiconductors here. And one might be your processor also. All of these things, like not processor, I'm talking about semiconductors here, and which makes this entire board function, right? So that is the Memorandum of Understanding that has been signed between NILIT and Tata Electronics Private Limited for giving or conducting skill enhancement program in India, and especially in the northeastern region of India. So now moving on, India. This is also important. So this article talks about India joining the prestigious UN Committee of Experts on Big Data and Data Science for official statistics. So, okay. So, as the news article also wrote, India joins the UN Committee on, we're talking about India joining a committee, okay? Just remember this, UN Committee. And the committee is on Big Data and Data Science for official statistics. So what is UNCEPD? The full form is United Nations Committee on Experts, Committee of Experts. This is a United Nations Committee of Experts, experts on statistics, basically statistics, okay? Big data and data science for official statistics. So when you're talking about big data, in simple words, just understand that it refers to a huge amounts of information. Okay, so much amount of information, as the name suggests, only there's a huge amount of information that are actually too large and they're very complex for simply traditional processors, like traditional computers, to understand, or for normal computers like the computers that we have in our homes, our laptops, or our tablets and all. It is impossible for the computers that we have to understand. All right, so these data are actually processed or studied by the supercomputers and stuff like that. All right. And it includes like all the social media tweets, like in bulk numbers, and also it includes like online shopping and all, right? And it talks about sensors and everything, healthcare records. So just think of big data like a giant ocean, all right, giant ocean, because I will be talking about data science, right? Giant ocean of information collected from everywhere, from your phone, computer, traffic cameras, CCTV cameras, all of the data, including are known as big data. And when we're talking about data science is actually the process of making sense of big data, right? Understanding big data by using mathematical techniques, also computer codes and programs, and especially statistical methods, right? To understand the big data only. So this is it. And this is used for predicting trends, like weather forecasting is also a part of data science only. Stock market movements, all of these are done through data science, right? So if big data is like an ocean, okay, just understand that data science is like a very skilled fisherman. Like there's a very skilled fisherman. Just imagine Mr. Dedicated Christian Youth is the fisherman in the big data science, and he's trying to find the most valuable fish. All right. So meaning that through data science from this big data, which is collected from your phones everywhere, you try to understand this data for actual accurate predictions and stuff like that. So this is very important. All right, committee of experts deals with this. India has joined this. Okay, so was established. The UNCEBD was established in 2014 under the United Nations Statistical Commission. See, the United Nations Statistical Commission. Remember that. So, which the United Nations Statistical Commission was established in the year 1947, right, by the United Nations, by the ECOSOC only. This was established by the ECOSOC, which stands for United Nations Economic and Social Council, everybody knows. And under this, the UNCEPD is established, like a three-tier system, right? ECOSOC, UNSC, and UNCEPD. And the purpose of the UNCEPD is to explore the benefits and challenges of big data and data science. You've understood this today for official statistics and policy making. So that is the big data thing that we're discussing about. Now, moving on, this is chips, but certain important questions might come here. So, how do I explain this? First, understanding. Okay, let's read this. Getting started with CDAC, Vega, Aries, VC, see, microcontroller development board. See, as I've mentioned, this is a board and we have this chips here, right? So now I've just simplified this somehow for your understanding here, simply so that sometimes direct questions might come from here, all right? First, understand. First, understand what is a chip. So what is a chip? All right, what is a chip? It can either be a microchip or what we read in the article, like a superconductor chip. All right. So this chip is a very small, this is like a very small electronic component only. And this is made of semiconductor material. And when you're talking about semiconductor material, the most important semiconductor material, as we all know, is silicon. We're talking about the Silicon Valley and stuff like that, like Taiwan being the biggest producer of silicon. So we know that Taiwan is the biggest manufacturer of semiconductors because there's ample amount of silicon material available in Taiwan. Right? So these chips are like a small electronic component which is made of semiconductor material like silicon, right? And this contains millions or even billions of tiny circuits. So this is a chip and there are tiny, tiny, tiny circuits, okay? And this acts as the brain, right? These chips are the brain of electronic devices. So when in our computer classes, we read that the brain of the computer is the CPU, central processing unit, right? So chips are the brain of electronic devices. It can be your smartwatches, it can be your phones, it can be your laptops, anything. So when we're talking about chips, it is the brain of the electronic devices. And these process data and perform calculations. And chips are everywhere in your computers, in your smartphones, even in cars, like which are integrated with technology, with GPS and everything. You have chips there, and home appliances like even washing machines and all of these have chips. And when you're talking about microprocessors, these are used in computers and softwares, right? Computers and smartphones, all of this to run applications. And when you're talking about see, these are the different types of chips only, okay? We have memory chips as well. So memory chips, they're used to store data, right? To run applications, to run apps. Microprocessor is used to run apps. For memory chips, for storage. You have graphics chips. So for people who are interested in playing video games in computers and all, you need graphics card, right? So this is also a chip only. And graphics chip is not just for playing games, but it also used for processing images, right? And videos, video editing and everything is done even easier only when you have, even better only when you have like graphics card and all, right? And the article also talk about the development processor. If you just understand it once you read the article, you will understand it very clearly, right? It's development processor. This is also like a microprocessor only. All right. Or it is a system on chip. This is like a system on chip, which you will find in the articles as SOC. SO, system on chip. So this is designed for developers. to build and test new applications, software, and embedded systems. Okay, for meaning that if you are a developer of what? Developer of a software, developer of video games, developer. So you use this development processor, all right, the development processor in order to, make or test new applications, software, and all of these things. Now, these are the information that is provided. There are 3 chips or development board. One is a development board, and there are 2 chips that have been talked about. So very simply talking about them, we have the launch of, which one do we start from? Just here. The Tejas 64 SoC, right? SoC meaning system on chip, which is a development processor, which is used by developers to test new applications and stuffs like that, right? We have the SoC. This is an SoC ASIC, India's first fully indigenous 64-bit single core chip. Just remember that. Let me not go in detail of this. India's first indigenously built, indigenous meaning it has been built by India only. All right, 64-bit single core. The answer is Tejas 32. Okay, fabricated at Semiconductor Laboratory SCL, Chandigarh, meaning that this is where it was built. And when we're talking about building of chips, you're talking about fabrication. When you're talking about fabrication, you're simply talking about building of chips and designed for industrial and embedded applications. Okay, so and then the next one is we have the Aries Nova and designed for IoT. IoT means Internet of Things. Internet of Things. And this refers to a network of smart devices which connects to the internet. And these smart devices, they communicate with each other without actually requiring the involvement of a human. So the bulb at your home, the machine, the fridge in your home, right? They will be the fridge in your home, the computer, or they will be connected to the Wi-Fi or the Disney internet, and they will interact with each other, right? This is about the Internet of Things only. And even cars and all, they connect to the internet and they drive themselves, right? This is about Internet of Things, wearables and robotics. All right, powered by this only and compact and budget friendly for developers. So these chips are actually for developers, okay? And lastly, we have the Aries Eco Development Board. So low cost platform for embedded system developers, meaning that it helps the developers build small specialized computers for devices like smartwatches and automation systems, like all of these things, okay? And features multiple communication interfaces and GPIOs. So it means it supports USB, pen drive and all, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all right, all of these things only. Just remember that Eco Development Board is for this thing. And supports standalone operation with flexible power option, meaning that it can run without a computer and it supports different power sources like batteries or USB and all, okay? Standalone meaning that it can run without a computer. And what is the significance of this development? The significance is that it boosts India's self-reliance in advanced semiconductor design. See, this is the first indigenous 64-bit single-core chip. This one is important. Just remember, the SoC ASIC, Tejas for 64 SoC ASICs, India's first indigenous 64-bit. And this is the Aries Eco Development Board and the Aries Nova Development Board. These two have also been developed, right? And strengthens India's position in AI, the Internet of Things, and industrial automation, reduces dependency on foreign chip technology. And as I've mentioned, just for your information, we know that Taiwan is the global leader, all right, in production of semiconductors, because we have the famous company here, TSMC, which stands for Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. And it is said that Taiwan produces over more than 50% of world's advanced chips. It is produced by Taiwan only. And this company supplies chips to companies like Apple, right? Apple phones. And when you're talking about graphics card, for people who are interested in gaming and everything, you have the NVIDIA, right? NVIDIA graphics card, the AMD processor, and all, like Qualcomm. All of these companies, right? These huge companies, computer companies, electronics companies, they receive their superconductors from chips from Taiwan only. And for example, you have also South Korea also. See, you have like the Samsung. They are major suppliers of major memory chips, Samsung and all, right? And for US, you have companies like Intel, right? Intel processor, i3, i4, i5. You have Qualcomm, you have AMD. For China, China is also rapidly expanding their semiconductor manufacturing firms. And also Japan, in Japan, you have the Sony, right? All of these things are chip related to chip and semiconductor manufacturing. Now, the next article here, we have India entry into the elite group of nations capable of executing space docking operations. Executing space docking operations. So space docking simply means it is the process of connecting two spacecrafts. Okay, if there is a spacecraft sent, and if there is a spacecraft, or just say International Space Station is here, a spacecraft is here, and the space docking means it is the process of connecting two spacecrafts. Okay, in the orbit, so they can function as one unit. So you send a spacecraft from a rocket, okay, from India only, and you send it to the International Space Station, for example, and you connect it with this, and they function together as one. So this is simply what space docking means, right? And then why is it important? Because it helps astronauts transfer between spacecrafts and space stations, right? Talking with the International Space Station only, as I've mentioned. And it also helps in satellite servicing. If there is a satellite and it needs some servicing, so if it connects with a new one, it will help in refueling as well. It will help in repair, upgrade, everything, right? And space missions will also be conducted through this only, right? So this is where space docking is important. So see, now this is all about the article. We have read this in the news time and again. Now, see, this article says that I've just summarized here. SpaceX, spacecrafts and satellites. Okay. SpaceX, or Space Docking Experiment, is a twin satellite mission developed by the Indian Space Research Organization to mature and demonstrate technologies related to orbital rendezvous docking formation of sea. So a space, these two satellites are connected in the orbit only, in the space. And once they are connected, it is known as space docking. So India joins an elite group, see from the article only, okay, I'm talking about. So India joins an elite group. So earlier, there were only three countries like USA, Russia, and China who were able to successfully dock spacecraft in the space. All right, so India has joined this three countries, and successful docking operation. India conducted the successful docking operation on 16th of January 2025. And this has marked a major milestone in India's space technology. Remember that. And this was launched via PSLV C60. Remember this, not PSLV C58, or not this one. They are different PSLVs, like Polar Satellite Launch Vehicles, right? This is a rocket only, Indian for the Indian space missions. PSLV C60. Remember this. So basically, this was the launch was on 30th of December only, right? 2024. So they sent two small spacecrafts into the space. Two of these were spent for docking experiment only. Okay, and these two were connected in space only. And the purpose of space tech mission is simply to test, right, and to improve India's ability in spacecraft. See, this is the purpose: India's ability in spacecraft rendezvous, docking and undocking, which is important for future stations and deep space missions. Deep space missions. This is one word that is also important. Deep space missions, in order to study the space only, right? And the key objectives were simply to prove that India can dock two spacecraft in space, to prove to the world and also to ourselves, and also to test. One is to prove, to test, right? To test how connected spacecraft can move and function together. These are two different entities with two different components, but if they connect it, they function as one, okay? And the future impact, it will help India in their lunar missions, in sample return missions, where the docks, they will collect samples from the moon, from the surface of the moon, and they will be brought here, and this will be transferred to Earth, right? And also like India has also planned, for example, we have the International Space Station, right? But India has also planned a space station known as, just for your extra information, Bharatiya Antariksh. You'll come across this in news later on, or you might even come over it. So this is India's planned space station. India's planned station. All right, meaning India will launch this space station very soon in the near future. And then this event, this feat that India has achieved now is very important for this new space station. All right. The next article is about, see, the 7th article. Just complete this. China launches Shijian 25 satellite to test on-orbit refueling and mission extension technologies. A Long March 3B satellite. Okay, wait. China launched the Xinjiang. The article talks about China launching the Xinjiang 25 satellite. So this was sent into, this satellite was sent into the geostationary transfer orbit. Okay. And this orbit is used to actually transfer satellites to their final geostationary position. So we have the low Earth orbit, we have the geostationary transfer orbit, all of these things, right? Geostationary orbit, or all of these things. We have discussed it in previous classes. I'll also discuss it with you later on. But for now, just imagine that this satellite is launched to the geostationary transfer orbit, okay? And this was launched using Long March 3B rocket. This is the rocket, right? This is the rocket that is used by the Chinese only. All right, like India has the PSLV, GSLV rockets. So India has used this satellite, and this was developed by the Shanghai Academy of Spaceflight, which is a key division of China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. And this CASC is China's main space agency responsible for major missions. And the main purpose of Xinjiang 2025 is to test on orbit refueling. Is to test on orbit refueling. So how refueling of a rocket or this rockets, right? The satellites can be refueled while they are in the orbit only. It is to test this, okay? And so this was the objective. An experiment with mission extending technologies. This was China's first space launch of 2025, also the 550th mission of the Long March rocket series. So this is the Long March rocket series, okay? And it is also known as Changzheng rocket series. And this is the main family of launch vehicles, like we have PSLV for India. And this is developed by the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation, aka developed by the China Aerospace China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. Okay, just for your information, this was launched in the year 1970. And as India only, remember this, I'm emphasizing it even more and more because this is important. This Long March 3P rockets, right? So like India only, this is used for various missions, like for launching satellites, for going like crewed spacecraft, and everything is used by China, just like India has PSLV, GSLV and all. Now, the next article is about, okay, this only. This was the post that was posted by All India Radio News. I'm not reading this article. We will just understand from here. I'm proud to convey that an Indian space tech startup. So Indian space tech known as Pixel, right? So Indian space tech startup, which is a Bangalore-based data company, right? Bangalore-based startup. So yes, Bangalore-based Pixel has successfully launched India's first private satellite constellation. That is the Firefly. It is a satellite constellation, meaning a lot of satellites will be launched and it will be in the form of a constellation. The satellite constellation is the world's topmost high-resolution hyperspectral satellite constellation. High-resolution hyperspectral satellite constellation. On behalf of the entire country, I congratulate the team of Pixel, ISRO, and InSpace for this achievement. So Pixel, ISRO, and InSpace. InSpace is like the commercial wing of the ISRO only, okay? So just remember that. So these three bodies have collaborated for this. So just remember, India's first satellite constellation is known as Firefly. This is India's first satellite constellation. From here, you just remember that. And also there is one term here, hyperspectral imaging satellites. So when you're talking about hyperspectral imaging satellites, just remember that they capture a wide range of light beyond normal colors. All right, like red, blue, green, they will capture this in the hyperspectral imaging. All right, they will capture, for example, they will capture light, but they will not be normal colors of the light. And this will allow, all right, so this satellite will be here and they will capture the light that is emitted from the Earth, but not light as in colors of red, green, blue. All right, not the normal colors, but they will capture this light rays and from the Earth, right? And they will analyze the surface of the Earth. And this will detect, in this this will be very clear, right? This hyperspectral imaging from this constellation of satellites, it will be very clear that you will be able to study the trees, the surface of the Earth, how soil composition is, pollution levels, right? All of these things, tree health and everything will be studied through this. Just imagine that hyperspectral imaging. They capture a wide range of light, okay? This also talks about another, the Dikandara Aerospace, launching world's first commercial satellite known as Space Camera for Object Tracking. See, Space Camera for Object Tracking. World's this is the world's first commercial satellite. World's first commercial satellite. Okay. The Dikandra SCOT. Dikandra is a company which is Bangalore-based space surveillance company. Dikandra is said to launch its maiden dedicated surveillance satellite. Okay, SCOT, the Space Camera for Object Tracking, is designed to track resident space objects (RSOs) with high frequency and precision, addressing gaps in current global space surveillance system. With SCOT, we are taking a crucial step in achieving surveillance superiority. Now, see, Dikandra, remember the company, and the satellite will be launched to launch Dikandra to launch satellite on Elon Musk SpaceX rockets. SpaceX rockets, the Falcons, right? So this is the Dikandara SCOT, which is world's first commercial satellite, which will be used for profit for commercialization, right? So if you want information gathered through this satellite, it will be available to all those people who will pay for it. And not particularly people, you're talking about high-ranking people who are relating to government officials or secretaries in international bodies and so on, right? And the last article. See, that is all about it. And the last article, the article number 9, Chip Semiconductors Limited. Just remember this. So this article talks about India's first private semiconductor manufacturing facility. All right. The Chip Semiconductors Limited, in collaboration with YMTL from Japan, has signed an agreement with the Andhra Pradesh government to establish India's first private semiconductor manufacturing facility, which will be established in Kurnool, Andhra Pradesh. This is also a very significant achievement, and you remember that it will be just remember the place where it will be, location where it will be established, the Kurnool, in Kurnool, Andhra Pradesh, right? And this will be partnered by Chip Semiconductors Limited, right? This company and Japan's this YMTL. This is a fabrication unit. See, The new SIC fab facility. Fab means fabrication unit. And I told you that when we are talking about building or designing of chips, we mention it as fabrication. Okay. And this will produce the new SIC fabrication facility, meaning that it will produce. I have told you that for semiconductors, one of the material is silicon, right? So this will also produce silicon carbide only. SIC means SIC is a chemical name for silicon carbide, right? Silicon carbide wafers. This is used in high performance chips, especially for electric vehicles, power electronics, and renewable energy only, okay? And this is very important. We'll begin with a production capacity of 10,000 wafers per month and ramping up to 50,000 wafers per month within 2 to 3 years. And the significance of this is that it will the significance of this is that it will boost the semiconductor manufacturing in India, right? And it will also relate to Atmanirbhar, right? Atmanirbhar in semiconductors. Atmanirbhar meaning self-reliance. All right, India is looking forward to this. And also when you're talking about wafers, they are just, how do I say? Wafers are actually used to manufacture microchips. Just remember that they are like thin, very circular slice of semiconductor material only. So if for making semiconductors and microchips, you used wafers. So production of these wafers will help in the production or building of or fabrication of microchips, right? Semiconductors and all. Okay. And this wafers, they are made from silicon only. Okay, just remember that. So with that, we complete our science and technology portion of discussion. All right. And next class, we will talk about this banking and business and economy, which is also very important. So yes, this will be the banking and economy. After that, we will discuss the MCQs, the questions and stuffs like that. So yeah, with that, we end our discussion today. Thank you all for staying till the end.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
you're welcome. You're welcome, everyone.
Good
Christy,
night, sir.
Thank you, sir.
good
Thank
night.
you.
Good
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 night,
night.
night.
sir.
Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Good night.
Good night.